Okay, I
Yeah.
think. Sorry, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, I think we can move on now.
Yeah,
from
cool.
This one.
Yeah.
It's been interesting though. I like that we had got to have like an in-depth discussion about this because I'm pretty sure it'll quickly become something that's talked about quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, NGE. So we've had qualifiers for the NGE tournament, and now it's moving on to the final 8 teams. And I think they're doing a round robin, correct? Is it 2 groups of round robins, or is it just like one big old group of 8 and round robin here?
Yeah, so there's a round robin group of 8, and then once the round robin's done, the top 6 teams advance through into another round robin, where from that the top 4 teams will advance to the offline finals, assuming the information I'm getting on Liquipedia page Overwatch is correct.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. So with the teams that we're, I think, competing right now, we got Kingdom Esports, Citizen 7, Complexity, Immortals, FaZe, Luminosity, Kangarna, and Team Liquid.
So actually, guys, I think we have some breaking news.
Okay.
Or at least it appears that Over.gg Sideshow, who, by the way, is a fantastic content creator, Over.gg is a really great resource if you're looking to stay up to date on Overwatch news and tournament results, all that. But 18 minutes ago, Sideshow publishes an article here. Cloud9 and Fnatic drop from NGE Winter Premiere. You can see this on the Winter Premiere website. They're no longer there, and we just talked about the teams. And they tweeted the link, or they tweeted the image out as well without these teams on it. And the rumor here is that it's due to invites for OG and Apex Season 2. So this has not been confirmed, but I mean, I don't know why else they would drop out. This is a 100K tournament. It's in North America. It's coming up very, very soon. The qualifiers are going on right now. Yeah, Envious isn't in it. So yeah, I guess we'll just open it up with that.
I guess Cloud9 and Fnatic are going to Korea is basically what.
I mean, it's not confirmed.
Yeah,
that's so rough though. For Cloud, I mean, okay, no, I'm not trying to be like BM to Cloud9 or anything, but for FaZe, who's kind of been together for a while, to like be passed over to the new Cloud9, that kind of sucks for FaZe. But it's also cool for Cloud9, like for Mendo and them and Rolf are going to be on the team moving over there. Well, assuming they're going to Korea, that's going to be a really big learning experience for them as a team, a really big bonding experience. And I'm curious to see how they come out from that whole event, like how strong they're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming they're going to Korea. Not, I mean, we don't know. We don't know. Just speculation.
Assuming. I would be shocked as to it not being. I mean, it being a different reason for both of these top teams to drop out. Both of these teams, you could say, were favorites. At least top 3 or top 4 to win this tournament. And like Ben said, $100,000 tournament. That is one of the top prize pools that we have for Overwatch. And having a good chance to winning at it, I think most teams would definitely jump at that. So definitely an unfortunate thing for NGE because these are 2 big names, 2 very, very good teams. Could have been made for some great matchups. But we still got some, definitely still some solid teams here in at least NA teams that we see here, and hopefully it will still be some great matches. But
Complexity might win a tournament.
Yeah, they're. You say that like with such surprise, or
no? I love the guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
like,
man,
their big competitors aren't really at the event. It seems so far.
Yeah.
I think they have a good chance to make it to the offline finals.
They played well at MLG. FaZe, obviously FaZe too. So Luminosity being here too. I think we were talking a little bit before the show that it'll be great to see how far they've come with just playing together more. We saw them in the qualifiers, but we haven't gotten a chance to see them since. I'm sure they're going to look a lot better now that they've been able to practice for a few more weeks.
And like thinking about form of teams, because I know a lot of teams took time from MLG till like today or yesterday off. Mm-hmm. Like teams have just started scrimming again. Like for instance, Misfits, they've just started scrimming again. Even Rogue. For someone who's like Complexity, I don't know. I don't actually personally know if they took a break from MLG, like them and FaZe, till now. And if they didn't, then they have to be in some really good form coming into the event.
Yeah, that'd be definitely good to see. See some more Sombra, man. That'd be great.
Wouldn't say no to that. As long as it's not in Hollywood. I already casted that match enough. I don't need to see more Sombra in Hollywood again. Ever again. God.
So Apex Season 2, you brought that up. That's obvious. The word is that's coming up soon. And I don't know. Any word on how many Western teams will be there? You guys have any idea? Is it going to still be 2, 4, any?
It's got to be more than last season.
Right.
Well,
I would imagine it
Yeah.
has to be.
Well, think about some other missing teams from NA in the winter premiere. We don't see. We're not seeing, of course, Seagull and his buddies playing this one. So maybe they're going back to Korea. I think they had a really good time when they were there. So who knows? Maybe Seagull's headed back to Korea.
Seagull tour.
Unsure on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hard to say.
They have to be. Like, oh god, how big these teams are there. And what I'm curious about is how many. So if we're assuming this is right, you have Cloud9, Fnatic, Envious, Energy. So would there be 4 NA teams, and then what about EU teams? Is there going to be like equal representation between NA and EU? So could we potentially see like 8 Western teams and like 8 Korean teams and be like a 16-team tournament or a 16-team league?
That's a lot of teams. 8
I don't know,
teams
like,
over
obviously it's
Korea for
speculation,
3
but-
months. That is a long time.
Yeah, and actually, now I'm thinking out loud, like, what's going on in Europe right now? It's really quiet. Like, are there any events, Jason, that you know of going on?
Nope.
Around
I
this time?
literally don't know any single event I'm even working with or casting this whole year so far. Because, well, from what I understand, Blizzard's not giving up much licensing for events because they want to be very like critical about the events coming up, especially with what's happened with a certain tournament. I know I'm personally working on like getting ESL to host some tournaments for Europe, but I don't like from what I'm hearing we're going to be able to. It's just about working stuff out. But like big tournaments, like majors, not a freaking clue. Sadly, not a clue.
I mean, if you have some of the big teams over in, gosh, let's just say it was 8 teams. If you had 8 teams going to Apex, it's like that's hard to have anything left over here to do some really interesting big events that can get some viewership. So that's pretty tough. The biggest thing to wonder about is when the league's going to be announced. Like, that's happened in 2017, right? I mean, I hope we don't wait another year, please. Like, halfway through 2017, I feel like it would be too late. So hopefully
it's guaranteed 2017.
I hope it's first quarter 2017 too.
Like starting or announced?
I mean, at least announced. I would hope it starts Q2. Otherwise, I mean, you only have a half a year left. That's not enough to do a league, right?
I know they've talked about only doing like a 4 or 5 month league and then have like the rest of the time be off season for like third party events.
Wow.
I wouldn't be surprised if the league doesn't start till like Q3.
Oh, if it's only 4 or 5 months, then okay, that's different.
Yeah, I would bet a lot of money that it's starting this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's even Q3, Q4 around that time.
Okay, so if it's 4 or 5 months, I guess that does work out second half. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time for off season. 6, 7 months. I guess a lot of third-party event organizers are probably pretty thrilled about that.
Well, yeah, look what happened with LCS. Is there any third-party events done in League of Legends? Only IEM.
There's like 2 IEMs a year.
Exactly, and that's like heavily 100% influenced by Riot, who get to say who goes to the event, like what teams and what casters. I'm ecstatic that Blizzard's going to be doing a lot of third-party events because it gives a lot of teams who don't necessarily have the chance to rise up and shine. A lot of casters who don't have the chance.
Yeah.
Because like if you want to be a league caster and you don't work for Riot, you're not a league caster. Like same thing with Blizzard in the league coming up. Like luckily for this, with so many third-party events happening, assuming it goes that way, then there's a lot more longevity for people to work in Overwatch.
Yeah, that's a good point for sure. Okay.
But before we move on NGE, because I'm assuming we're done with that, I want to bring this up really quickly because I asked about NGE before on my stream earlier today. I just want people like who are going in to watch it, stop criticizing the casters. Like everyone's so like locked in of wanting to see these certain casters every single time, but you have to give people a chance. Like give these guys a chance. Don't like judge them so harshly because they don't necessarily have like the same experience casting Overwatch as like your ZP, your Hexagrams, your Monte, your Doa. Give them a chance. Stop being dicks.
Yeah, that's true.
Seriously, like stop being dicks. Like let them try.
You can be
critical.
Constructive criticism is actually something that's really hard to get. You know, Jason and I, both casters, a lot of the time there's just blatant, just outright like hate or negativity, and almost no direct references to like what they actually think they didn't do right. So I would take what Jason said and say, if you have criticism and if you don't like a caster, if you want to write about it, at very least, try to give some constructive criticism so they can improve over time. Because it's still such a young game. We're still going to see new talent arise. We're still going to see current talent probably drop out. Things are going to change continuously.
Look at Staticus in CS.
Yeah,
that guy was doing Call of Duty. He did one event.
He was a tribes caster.
There you go.
By the way,
and now he's
just
like,
so you know,
he's the pair with Henry G of CS of the year. Like, give people a chance. Don't be too harsh. Don't be dicks.
Yeah. And they have a pretty good production. I think we were talking about a few shows ago, Ben. They have a very nice, they have a really nice studio and setup there. And they're kind of a new organization to organizing esport events. So it looks like they want to do this for a while. And we want to encourage third-party event organizers, especially ones that potentially can afford to do really cool setups, to continue to do them. So yeah, don't scare them off, guys. Don't be dicks, like Jason said. Okay, I think that's going to be it for the esports. So next segment is hopes for 2017. So last episode we did kind of best of, just our picks for what we thought were the best players and teams and all that good stuff. But we never really talked about what we hoped for in this coming year in terms of Overwatch, esports, or whatever, just the game, and personally what we're hoping for. So who wants to start? Should we start with a category first? This is a little bit on the fly here.
Yeah.
So.
I wish I had more time. I wish we had thought of doing this segment earlier. So we put more thought into it, because I think we could do an entire show on this. I mean, we could yap about our wish list for the game itself, for the community development, whatever. I have probably 10 things I want to put on this list, but I don't know. I don't know if you think we should do it by category or just start going. I don't know. I could yap for a while.
Okay, I'll start. I'll just go. I just want to go.
Let's start like with let's divide it at least into esports and then the game. Like, just kind of separate it a little bit there. So how about esports? Let's start with esports first.
All right, esports. I want to see pretty much like the World Cup, but with like one team representing each. Oh shit! It's basically the World Cup. Wow, I'm an idiot.
What?
No, I want to
one team representing each of the countries. Okay.
I don't know. That's like literally the World Cup, and I'm
World
an idiot.
Cup with no community voting, just like the actual.
I want to
players?
see. Yeah, like I want to see like the most votes. Like, yeah, basically.
You could have a bench in that scenario. Actually, going back to our previous topic, have a coach and a bench, and have like 8-10 man rosters.
Like, what I'm thinking of is the MSI tournament. Or not, like the MSI tournament / All-Stars for League of Legends, like an All-Star thing, like the best Genji, 1v1 Genji matchups and stuff like that. Like even the casters playing against each other, like we saw at All-Stars.
So Olympics type of like.
Yeah, I would love to see that. That'd be really cool. Mm-hmm. Like as a celebration after like the league's finished for the year or something like that.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I think it would be even cool if obviously content makers were voted on some of these teams. Have them actually make content, like that's really promoting the, their country team and have a planned or at least a plan for like marketing in terms of that too. I think that would be pretty sweet. Promoting the teams that way, that'd be cool.
I mean, there's a really obvious one for this section, and it's simply just launch the OW League. Beyond that's obvious, right. So obvious shouldn't even talk about it, but. We got to see what this thing is, man. I mean, it's still the most ambitious esports plan I've ever even heard of. Yeah. To have teams tied to locales, to have the combine, all of this has never been tried before. Cannot wait to see it happen. Can't wait to see this league finally launch. Blizzard has a lot of work left ahead of them. Oh man, because this is this is something like we've never really seen before in Overwatch or in any esport rather. So yeah. Get it off the ground, Blizzard. Love to see that.
For me, I'd like to see. It's more of a production thing. I'd like to see the. And I'm not gonna just go. I want more stuff in spectator mode. I just want to see the production, the best practices, the epitome, the model of what, you know, Overwatch esports should be from a viewing standpoint. I still don't think we're there. Like, I still think there are still some mistakes made in terms of which characters we're showing at the wrong time, and I think it's just a matter of getting people together and really analyzing, like, a lot of odds, what we should do, what we should try, and what we should try to avoid. And even from a staff-wise, like, what do we need? Like, I think we're getting closer to that point. Like, we actually have enough cameramen now. We probably do have a director. I don't know if that directors or are still fit enough to do the job, like, at the best, you know, just at highest level. But yeah, I want to see a step forward in that. I think I'd be pretty happy to see, like, maybe 1 or 2 steps forward in terms of us avoiding just the crazy shaking cameras and, you know, like, stuff that's just hard to watch for folks that were trying to get into Overwatch esports.
I actually have one more hope for the esports side of things, and maybe a little bit different than what most people would expect. I hope that someone puts good infrastructure in for the amateur and casual players, because
like what,
as
like
someone
a
that's
casual
played,
league, or what do you mean?
yes, yes. As someone who's played first-person shooters competitively since well, more than half of my life, from ages like 12 to 22, I played games competitively. There was a period in the yesteryear, the previous generation of esports, the pre-2008 generation of esports, where Cal, League, and CPL were so huge that even your
cool
friend at, like, your random buddy at high school who you didn't even think was a gamer would be playing on, like, a Counter-Strike in a league with a team that they, like, paid entry for. This is something that ever since Cal and CPL died, no one has filled these shoes. I think it would be incredibly beneficial for the entire ecosystem if we can actually bring in lots of, I'm not even talking about, like, amateur on the cusp players. I'm talking about, like, you know, leagues for players in, like, the diamond to masters range, like the thousands and thousands of players that are in that range, you know, tens of thousands of players in that range should have a way to play organized league play. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah,
I can agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd even be nice to have, like, the Challenger League, you know, compared to the Legends, have a lot of support from Blizzard. I remember hearing stories from so many players who played in Challenger for League who struggled with, like, DDoS. Like, DDoS was so prevalent in terms of, like, qualifying for Challenger, that teams constantly were being disconnected, constantly being DDoSed, and Riot wasn't doing anything about it. And there was so much abuse of, like, rules and such like that. And that's really toxic in terms of, like, trying to keep League as a major esport. And what Fishstix is saying in particular, like, it's a pyramid, right? You have to support the bottom of the pyramid to support the top, and to continually funnel in new talent and funnel in new players into the top echelons of Overwatch, you're going to need a strong base. And that's something that, if not Blizzard, someone out there has to take care of.
Yeah, it's that whole grassroots thing, right? And you just elongating the span of which people play Overwatch too, because you know, it's obviously ideal whenever you can still love a sport or a game even though you don't play it. But in esports, it's still most optimal when people are playing the game. You know, they're going to stay interested in the esports scene if they're playing it, like, almost, you know, a very large amount of percent. The engagement is huge, you know, in terms of that. So yeah, I think that would be, you know, that'd be great. And I'm surprised that nobody's, I mean, people have tried. It's not like people haven't tried to create these kind of,
yeah, and
just,
actually,
I don't know why, it's never, it's either not executed right, or it's just
right now,
or marketed right. Let me see.
Yeah, folks in chat are just saying, like, hey, you know about this league? It's open and it has 20 teams every week. And we saw a couple of people said that there is a difference, though, between a weekly tournament for newcomers and, like, a really well-established huge league where instead of playing an entire tournament in a weekend, you play one match a week for months, and that's an entire season, and you get paid out with points or actual money at the end. Or even better would be Blizzard builds the tournament system directly into Overwatch, so it's mind-numbingly easy to enter legitimate tournaments with, like, actual credibility behind them. I think that would be, like, the ultimate dream scenario. But when I'm talking about like this yesteryear of esports, I'm not talking about 20 teams signing up for an open tournament. I'm talking about hundreds, if not thousands of teams participating in the same league. It's a little bit different scale.
Yeah, that's a
There
lot
was
of time.
five leagues within a game. There was Cal O, which is like Cal Open, Cal I M for intermediate, Cal M for Cal Main, Cal P for Cal Premier, and then Cal I, which is the most prestigious you could have possibly been, which was Invite. Along the lines of that, I don't know if you'd agree with this, Fishstix, but something I'd hope for is a team queue in ranked that actually meant something. Because in League they have team ranked, and that's how you originally get like picked to go in towards Challenger or to qualify for Challenger to be like one of the top 10 teams or something. I would love for a team queue to be in the game, and then that feeds into tournaments. And or you can make a team queue like in League, you can make like a guild or whatever it's called these days, a clan, and queue for tournaments within the game. Like that'd be so sick to do. Like in StarCraft, they have that, don't they? They have these like random tournaments that happen every day.
Yeah, they added the tournaments.
That'd be so sick to have.
Yeah.
And then even if you don't win money,
doesn't matter.
Okay, 500 credits, in-game credits for first place per player, something like that. Like that costs Blizzard nothing, and it helps get people playing competitively.
Yeah.
Also, in-game client stream would be sick. That would be really cool.
Yes, that would be. That would definitely be great. Help out esports a ton too. If you could just watch.
Just just something small.
Yeah,
just
small. It's
so big for people who don't even know about tournaments and such. Like, it's such a big thing. Like, well, for instance, like MLG, right? When people were looking for esports, they looked to Twitch. But imagine people who don't even really know about esports.
That's
and
right.
they're like log in, they're like, oh, what's this? Oh, all these people are really good. And then they start watching, then they get involved, either casting or supporting or playing or whatever. There's so much to be done.
Yeah, there's definitely so much to be done. Knock them out one at a time. That'd be great. Okay, so why don't we move on to games? Like, what do you hope for the actual game itself? Heroes, maps, whatever. Anything.
I can't stick to like one or even three things here.
Okay.
I need to rant.
You need to rant. Oh no, here we go. All right. Ben,
I mean,
we've
been talking about. None of these are a surprise to anybody. We've been talking about them probably since day one of the show. Stats.
Yes.
Please, for the love of God, stats. We need stats for the commentators, for the casters, for the analysts, etc. Number 2, demos or recordings, ways to watch a match after it happened within the game climate, replays so that you can zoom around, go watch whatever aspect you want of it. Also, clearly a no-brainer. We'll elevate the level of play like instantaneously. Movie makers, frag videos will become an entirely new tier of from what we've seen before. And I'll just throw in number 3. Just can you nerf Anna in any point this year, please? Anytime.
She has been nerfed.
She hasn't nerfed.
0% generation. Once. Hello.
Oh, not just that.
And then
boost.
she got bumped about a grenade.
Yeah, that's true. Another nerf is what he's saying. She needs more nerf is what he's saying. Okay, all right. Jason?
What do you got, Jason?
So don't touch Anna. First of all, no. New game mode. I want to see like 1-2 minimum new game modes. Not necessarily implemented as a competitive game mode, but I want to see new game modes and maybe a PvE thing as well. Like that, the whole Junkenstein revenge they had was really cool. It was really fun.
Yeah, I think the new game mode is definitely high on my list. Also, I just want to see the ability to mod like some more. Like I want to see people be able to make their own maps and just we talked about this last week. Just a little bit more in the arcade and really develop that out because I still think the arcade is a crazy smart model or just at least an aspect of the game that allows for new content to be made without Blizzard having to spend any resources in doing anything. Yeah.
Chris, what about an RPG mode or an MMO mode where you have to like get kills to get experience, like Warcraft 3 mod in CS?
Yeah, it's
you have to get
exactly.
kills to get experience to level up your abilities to make them stronger.
Wow. Okay,
or like level up your health.
That's different.
Or level up like cooldown reductions so you have quicker cooldowns.
Oh, you mean in the actual normal game, so you can buff your guy in the normal?
No, because you can have custom servers.
Yeah,
like you can have your own, and you can mod them up differently. Like
have
a server where like you get XP per kill or XP for
Yeah,
assist or healing, and then you can invest those points into like more HP, or your healing beam on Mercy does more healing, or you have quicker cooldown reduction, or your Fire Strike does 200 damage instead of 100 on Reinhardt. Like you can upgrade it. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, it's like Heroes of the Storm mixed with Overwatch. Yeah.
I'm less interested in like mutators and mods to the gameplay itself. More interested in custom content creation and and map creation. We're gonna be old man FPS player here, but every single successful FPS game that's not named Call of Duty on console ever has only been successful because of user-made maps. I mean, even if you look at like StarCraft, like all of those maps were user-made. They weren't Blizzard made. Not all of them, but a huge portion of them at the top tier. In Brood War and in StarCraft 2, even towards a later time, they started really integrating the user-made maps. Can you imagine if there was a way for Blizzard to really integrate with the modding community and get great content, that we'd have dozens of awesome new maps like every year potentially to throw into the pool, and it would keep tournaments so fresh to have all of that. That would be amazing.
This is crazy buying this guy. I just want to see them pull the arcade out of all the games and just add it as a separate thing on Battle.net, and then just have, all the different arcades flood into that, and have that be. There's just so much potential in the arcade. Oh God, it just kills me. It's killed me.
But you mean like
years.
where custom modes are like cycled into the arcade?
Gosh, yeah,
like
custom modes and mods and whatever, custom games made by just all the APIs that are made available to them, right? Like StarCraft's API, right? It's pretty much just open to everybody. Obviously, what you make is still owned by Blizzard. That's
Dude,
very
I would
clear.
play Reinhardt pool, where you're on a giant pool table with giant pool balls, and you have to use your charge to hit balls in.
Yes.
I would play that.
Totally. There are a lot of people that play it. There are a lot of fantastic games, even just in the StarCraft arcade. You could totally do the same thing in the Overwatch arcade and just mix them all. Like just have them all in one place, and that would be amazing too. And it'd just be so good for Blizzard too. I think to have that I don't know what you call it. You can call it like a more simpler game, marketplace for them. But just to have, everybody that just loves Blizzard products have this avenue just to play with their friends too. It's kind of a social thing too. You can do with your friends, not just, within each IP and title, in each brand. So, yeah, that's like beyond Overwatch, but that would be amazing. That's not going to happen. Not holding my breath for that one in 2017, maybe 2020. Maybe that something like that for years in advance. And then lastly, I just want to see, let's say 3 new characters this year. I think that'd be cool. Like 1 every 4 months. I'd be pretty happy with that.
That's about the rate it's been coming so far. So
yeah, and
maybe even a little bit faster, right? Technically.
Custom voice packs.
Custom voice packs. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Sorry. Like announcer voice packs.
So like, Jason Kaplan. So I can get buy the Jason Kaplan bundle.
Fishstix? I would love to have a Fishstix one.
For what character?
I know a lot of people would. Yeah.
No. Announcer pack, not like hero packs. Like not for like Reinhardt to change his voice, but like for the announcer for like double kill, team kill.
Oh, I see. Just general in game. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd definitely be cool too. You could sell those too, right? Or
I'd buy it.
Sell them with credits and stuff. Yeah, just open that up a bit. That'd be good. Just open the whole marketplace for it a bit. Because we can
start gambling with these.
Okay, well, that's pretty concise. That wasn't too bad, right? I know Ben, you probably have a million other things to add to it, but realistic things, I think it'll be interesting to see how much the team grows too. Like, do you guys know how much has the team hired on a bunch of guys? Do you guys know?
When the game first came out, I remember them saying that the entire team working on it was about 80 people. And I know very quickly after that, just a few months later, it was over 100 already. So it seems to me like they're hiring at a pretty good clip.
Yeah.
I don't know what the latest number is, but I'm sure they've continued to hire here and there.
Oh, and one other thing too, that's not game. Well, is, you know, I guess it's the other thing, which is non-game. So just the general Overwatch world is, I do want to see more animations come out, short animations. Maybe I'll just say 5. I'll just throw out the number 5, which are animations, and then the graphic novel. I really want to see Overwatch be, you know, have some presence in that industry too. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, I guess I have one more that I'll throw onto the list of non-game, non-esports directly related. I guess you could say it's esports related. I just hope that we start to find a way to get the casual players more interested in competitive Overwatch. You know, we've talked about this many times as well. You just look at the main Overwatch subreddit. The moderator that's there, God bless their hearts, they actually keep the sidebar up to date with a lot of information about tournaments. You know, they do sticky threads, but a sticky thread, I like instantly like look past sticky threads. That's just how like my Reddit habits are. I don't really look at the sidebar. Like, what we really need to see, I really hope we see, is the competitive side of things, the esports side of things, actually filter into the main subreddit and just the main community as well. Because, you know, right now the game is sold like hotcakes. It's got tens of millions of players, but the actual community that's interested in the competitive side of things, to me, only seems like it's about a few 100,000 people at very most. It's probably like less than 5% of the player base. If we could get it to 20% of the player base, like that's casually interested in esports, suddenly Overwatch is one of the biggest esports in the world. But that's a big gap to make up. So we got to figure out how we do that.
Yeah, the in-game streamer, I think, would make huge, huge progress in terms of that, because all these people still don't know about competitive Overwatch. You know, like you said, only a few 100,000. I mean, what do you think? 5%? Probably 5% out of all the Overwatch players right now in the world know even that there is a competitive Overwatch scene, and they don't even know it's been on TV. You know, like I think the fact, if they just saw it, then it would you know, make a big impact on them. And it'd be kind of cool, right? I think a lot of people that play Overwatch would think it's like, wow, this is actually like a sport. It's just like any esports, right? You're explaining to somebody who doesn't know anything about esports. It's always fascinating to see their reaction, especially with their favorite game.
Again, this is why a tournament system built into the game could be so important. Even, I mean, putting the stream in the launcher or right in the front and center, fantastic. But I think even better for long-term growth would be getting more casual players, not just playing ranked, but playing an organized team-based competition, I think would be the best way to open it up.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think that's going to be it. I mean, if we decide to do a part 2, guys, we'll do a part 2 next week. We have some time to fill. Well, yeah, there's, again, a lot more things. But why don't we take some questions, Q&A portion of the show like we always do. We didn't have any emails this week, so just a reminder, if you guys listening via iTunes or whatnot if you guys want to ask a question for us to read off during the show, go ahead and email that to theoverview@chanmanv.tv, and we'll definitely be able to read that out for you guys. I do want to give a shout out to Lunatic Hai, I believe is his name, on iTunes for leaving a 5-star review and a nice comment for us. It's a really good way to help out the show, guys. If you do listen to the show on iTunes, to leave a 5-star review and a nice comment helps out the SEO on iTunes for people to find the overview when they're looking for Overwatch podcasts. So yeah, if you do it, if we got everybody that listens to the show on iTunes to just leave a review, that would help out immensely. So think about it, guys. Definitely think about it if you like the show. Only if you like the show. If you don't like the show, ignore what I just said. But let's take some questions. I guess we can take it from Twitch chat. You can tweet me too @ChanManV. I'll be able to see those like immediately. But yeah, Jason and Ben, why don't you take a look at Twitch chat and see if we got anything here?
Not a question, but a pretty interesting little tidbit from one of our chatters, Jessica Casey, or Jessica CK, I don't know, who says, well, I found esports overall from in-game stream in CSGO. So not only would it bring more people into Overwatch, but apparently people into esports in general have found it through in-game streams. So there you go. I know that's only one person, but anecdotes do tell a story here.
True. All it
What
takes is a
about
bunch of one person.
Bornity in chat says Blizzard just needs to release loot boxes with Overwatch League. God damn it, it just scrolled off. Themed items and the casuals are in. Imagine being a TSM fan from League of Legends and you see a TSM logo spray or something. Boom. There you go.
I somehow feel like Blizzard's too protective of their art style and world building to throw in like real world logos. I have a slight gut feeling that is not on their radar or not something they want to do, but we'll see.
Maybe once the league's out, they'll feel more compelled to do that. But I wonder what the internal team is like when in terms of how they feel about esports. Like, does the art team like all gung ho about esports, or are they more? Oh no, it's like we don't really care that much about the competitive side of it. We care much more about the artistic side of it. I wonder what it's like there. I'm sure everybody's just generally, yeah, that'd be awesome. But in terms of again affecting the actual content itself or things like that, I wonder how they would feel. All right, what's another one here? Got a bunch in Twitch.
Not many questions, a lot of comments.
Yeah. Yeah, ask your questions, guys, if you got anything. What about an option to disable cosmetics in normal ranked games? B Dodie. Oh, so just, I guess, like going back to standard skins and things like that. I don't know. Have you guys seen skins as being a big problem?
Not really.
I personally don't, but I can understand. I mean, you go back to the old Quake days where every single pro player played with this server command or this console command that basically turned your enemy into the largest possible bright green model that has the most recognizable grunting noise when he jumps, and they would turn all their graphics down to bare possible minimum, so there's literally no distractions. We're never gonna get that. If Blizzard implements it, would I be like happy or sad? Not really. I think pro players would like it a lot, but I really don't think it's that big of a deal, personally.
Yeah, it feels like a pretty minor thing. I don't think it would affect a lot of people's take on the game.
So there's a question from Archer. Archer, I can't say the rest of the name.
Archer.
There you go. Do you think tourneys should post VODs without casters as well? Because I want to start to analyze the games, and casters sometimes would be a problem. So if what Fishstix was saying, we had demos, then you wouldn't need to, because you'd have demo packs released from every tournament like they do in StarCraft. But there's no other tournament that I've seen, except, not to like toot my own horn here, oh my god, the Atlantic Invitational that we did so long ago. This was the closed beta phase 2 right before it shut. No, closed beta phase 2 right before the server shut down. Where we did clean feed VODs done by one amongst many. So he recorded VODs with no casting over it that people could practice with if you want to like practice casting.
Oh, nice.
But demo packs would be definitely a big start, because then you can cast off a demo.
Yeah, cast, review them. Like you said, content makers go nuts over them.
Here's the sticky one. All right. How worried are you about Blizzard courting such high-profile VC venture capital for a league in a notoriously volatile genre of esports? Do you think this will ultimately hurt Overwatch? I think the only way this hurts Overwatch is if somehow people just get so sick and tired of the meta, of the competitive meta, that the games are really, really boring and really, really unexciting, that the league, no matter all this investment gets poured in and nobody ends up watching it. I just don't see that happening. I mean, enough people play the game, enough that once this is launched and advertised, and as long as we continue to have patches that make the game better and move in the right direction, I don't VC alone is not going to hurt the game. What I'm more concerned about, I'd say, is how this affects the entire industry. If there's an incredibly massive investment in Overwatch itself, and it doesn't get the viewership that everyone is kind of expecting and hoping for, and if it kind of falls a little bit short of where Blizzard expects it to go. This could scare away VC and mainstream sports money in the future. But in terms of looking at Overwatch in isolation, no, this is going to add so much hype, so much salary is going to go to the players and the team owners and the analysts and the casters and everything. Like, this is going to be a huge boon to the community, at least in the short term, and until the only like scenario where it's not is if it really falls entirely completely flat. Then it could, I guess, make us look bad or something. But in terms of Overwatch in isolation, like this is going to be huge.
Yeah, I have the same sentiments. I'm in the same boat as, like, a lot of money coming into Overwatch or esports or whatnot is generally a good thing. Like, I can't argue against that. Like, it's either we get a lot of money or we don't have any money, right? Flowing into the space. So actually having large VCs, high profile VCs coming in is no question a great thing. Now, the only thing to worry about is whether, like, how prudent they're going to be about, working with, understanding the space. And understanding the space for me means either partnering up, acquiring, hiring, whatever way, people who've been in esports, endemically in esports for a long time. Whether that's like, what the 76ers did and picking up Dignitas, or it's like hiring, just certain people to be, director of esports, like, even Seb Park recently for the Rockets. As long as there are esports people that understand esports working with these people who are successful in other businesses too, then I think that's a recipe for success, in terms of esports. Where we've seen failures before from, non-endemic people coming into esports is when they don't have anybody that's actually knowing what they're doing in terms of just the space and what works and what doesn't work. And they're just like literally throwing money at everybody. And yeah, players benefit, some even events benefit in the short term because they get a big old lump of cash. But in the long term, it ends up failing, and it does hurt esports from an overall standpoint. So as long as that happens, and it seems like Blizzard is being pretty careful about that too, and how they're trying to figure out how these bids are going to work too. I mean, they're going to be selective about who gets these bids. I think there's a good chance of success. Jason, what are your thoughts?
I don't know if I have like any different or new thoughts than what you guys have already said. What I'm interested in is something I just kind of thought of, and I heard today about Counter-Strike. I guess somewhat related to this, not necessarily exactly related to it. That kind of goes along the lines of is it FC Copenhagen, a football club, is paying 20 grand per player a month as salary for the team they just picked up.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Which is like leaps and bounds beyond any team out there.
That
in the entirety of esports. And that kind of just shows the kind of money that these outside ventures, these VCs can bring to
But that's
esports.
Not good. I mean, not necessarily good. Doing
No.
I mean that coming in like that and just basically just screwing the market, especially when somebody that doesn't necessarily know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they do, but I'm just saying, like, you affect the market of esports by creating a precedent like that. And
yeah, but didn't we just talk about this not too long ago with salary caps versus no salary caps?
Yeah, we did, and that's not necessarily a good thing. I mean, it can be a good and bad thing to establish a precedent that, I mean, we're talking about value, right? If the value does match what like the player's value is, if they're not being paid the amount that they should be, then yeah, those type of things can be a correction tool. But if there isn't that happening, and then this team comes and goes and overpays by a lot, that's actually really bad for the sport, especially in the beginning of everything, because then everybody that's coming into the sport is like, oh, you mean we have to pay these players like $20,000 a month? Oh, that's a bigger investment than I was anticipating, and it's like, no thanks. And that's going to happen.
I mean, at the same time, if you're like a big esports club or a big sports club and you want to get into esports, you could just buy your way in, but you bring a lot of prestige from that as well. Like, imagine God, I can't even think of like a team. Whatever, the Patriots picked up an esports team. That would bring so much attention in the world, or okay, fine, just the US, whatever, towards esports, just because you have such a prestigious name joining. I don't think people are going to care that, I mean, I don't think people are going to care that like your Cloud9s can't pay their players 50 grand a month because of how much notoriety and prestige and attention you're bringing to esports with such a big club or sports organization joining esports. I'm not saying it's healthy. I'm just saying,
well, I mean,
it really helps push the bubble of where esports is.
Yeah, but them coming into the scene doesn't mean they have to wreck the market, right? I mean, you don't have to wreck the salary, like how much the players are being paid necessarily. It's hard. Do you think players are being underpaid? I mean, it's hard to define what it is. They're not being underpaid now. I mean, just come on. Like the viewership for Overwatch right now it doesn't match what I don't know what the players are getting paid, so I shouldn't really speculate. But you're talking about Counter-Strike in that particular case.
Like, I don't think players make nearly enough money. The players who are really successful are the ones who have popular streams off the back of that. And you can't have like you can have a professional career off of esports, yes, but it's not going to be long lasting. You're not going to be at the top level for your entire life. And what are you going to do after?
Okay.
And if you start to pay them a lot of money, I mean, eventually when their careers die out, they stay in the scene, right? They stay in esports, and the money that they've made, they invest back into esports by, organizations or new talent, etc. I mean, isn't that kind of what happened with football a little bit, or traditional sports? People who got paid a lot of money stuck around and kept investing their money and time and fame that they accrued through playing and making that much money back into the scene. I could be completely wrong.
I don't know if them putting it back in this. I mean, players stick around. I mean, players become analysts and things like that just because it's the best opportunity for them after they're playing. But I mean,
that's what I mean. Like, if your goal is if you could either go to college or become a pro player, and becoming a pro player, like say you're guaranteed to be a pro player, or guaranteed to go to school and finish your degree. But if you go pro player, you can make 20 grand a month.
Yeah.
For as long as you can remain a pro player, you're gonna take that probably because that's your passion. But if it's like, I could make 3K a month and then not really have enough money to support myself after, then maybe you choose college. I don't know. It's just thoughts, but
it's hard to say. Like, to be honest, like I don't actually know the market for CSGO, but I'm just imagining if somebody came into Overwatch and started paying the players 20 a month, like right now, that would wreck the market right now, I think. And it would, it wouldn't be a proper assessment of value for the players. Maybe in CSGO, players are worth that much for the top teams. I wouldn't be surprised, actually. That probably is a fair, no? Okay, so it's not. I mean, again, like, I don't know that much.
Maybe.
Even Hastro tweeted out, there's a big economic shift coming now for CS because of that 20K. Because you set that standard
That's
now.
What I'm talking about.
At that point,
yeah.
The other orgs are going to have to rise up to that occasion.
Yeah, it's... And sometimes it's a good thing because, like I said, if the players are underpaid, this ends up, being a great thing. But if it's not, if it's the opposite, then that's a bad thing. When the organizations like have to get to a point where they lose money or they're barely even making money, when the teams are barely making money, that's probably the worst case scenario, or they're losing money because the teams are what ends up being the vessel for the players to make money in these particular leagues and are just our esports right now. Like developers aren't paying the players directly. It's the teams that are paying the players. So in the end, the teams have to make money. Like all these people that get mad when teams are making money and the players are getting crapped on. That has to happen, guys. They have to make money. They can't just make zero and the players make like $20,000 a month. That just cannot happen. So
well, I mean, if this Overwatch League gets launched, I'm pretty sure there's going to be player stipends coming from Blizzard directly.
Right. That's cool.
I
That's
would
a
guess
different
in
thing.
that case as well, which changes things a little bit, but it's still likely going to be an open market where VC could flow in. However, Blizzard will have control, but it's certainly going to make a big impact.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, look at China. You have the APAC. Banana Culture is the organization, the company that put on APAC in China. And the owner of Banana Culture is the son of the richest man in China. He's technically the second richest man in China. Like, for that region and in general for the world and the economy of esports, that's a big grab for everyone to have the second richest person in China invested and have interest in esports, who wants to make a damn arena in like one of the most popular places in Shanghai to host esports events there. Like,
but as long as, like, again, as long as it's prudent, like they're being prudent about it, not getting ahead of themselves, not before they understand the industry and just, understand what ripples their actions are going to have. If everybody, if the stadium, if that is like what, he foresees as being, something that can push esports or even make him some money, then that's absolutely go for it. But if you're just doing it because it's just like, oh, this is just kind of like a cool thing to do, and I just happen to have the money, and you do it, and then it just ends up failing. That's kind of thing happens in China a lot, guys. They built these. I mean, look at the Olympics. They built this freaking crazy stadium and spent billions of dollars in hopes of looking like really awesome to the world, and then it's just like it's completely wasteful. That's the part that just worries me. Just as long as they're prudent about it, then everything will be fine. Because the money, we always need money, and we can always spend money in a smart way. Okay, any other questions? Yeah, dude, let's see if there's anything else.
I like, as Ben said, I like how it's supposed to be our quick show.
I know.
Or a short show.
It never is.
We've gone an hour and a half now.
It's never a quick
on
show.
like 2 topics that we've had.
So that's another. So me and Jason and we were just all talking about just questions for the show, and we really want to integrate the questions with just the topics that we talk about, because sometimes people ask about topics that we end up as one of our segments, or we end up covering in our segments, and then the question's a bit nullified. We'd like to use you guys' questions to maybe even help create segments each week. So I do highly encourage that you guys email them to the overview at ChanManV.tv, so we can kind of do that. And even if it's just a question that applies to something that we're talking about, it'd be cool that if we bring up these questions during the show versus only in the Q&A section. So we're going to try to do that. We'll try our best to do that in 2017. All right, should we wrap up? You guys see any other good questions?
Guess so.
Yeah.
I gotta get some game time in. Today's my last day of break before back to the grind at Twitch.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's the last day of vacation. So
yeah,
I think I need to put in like 6 to 8 hours today.
Oh yeah, baby, that's good stuff. Get those.
So
last
you're gonna
minute
stream
loot
then,
boxes.
right? Yes, I think so. I just got back from this Tahoe trip last night. My stuff is like everywhere. My room is a mess. I need to do some other stuff, but I think I'm gonna stream maybe.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely check that out. You want to start off then, Ben, with your shout out? You can plug your stream too.
Sure. You could follow me on Twitch. It's just Fishstix, as it's written here on the show. Thanks to everyone who watches each week. We definitely appreciate seeing our loyal viewers drop on in as time goes on. So much appreciated. Make sure to hit the follow button here. And yeah, we'll see you next week. There will be some events going on. It's really just the NGE qualifiers. It's actually a really quiet time for Overwatch esports, which does mean that like all the pro players are streaming. So still plenty to watch, just not the tournaments. Maybe you can watch my stream later. Maybe. We'll see.
That's not how you sell, Ben. Watch my stream. Watch my stream later,
yeah,
please.
Watch
Not maybe.
It. Yeah.
Not maybe. You can go watch Mendo or something. You maybe watch my stream. No, watch his stream. Definitely watch Fishstix' stream. Jason, you want to do shout
Chris.
Outs? Yes, anytime. I watch his stream. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, I watch it too.
Yeah.
Same pretty much as every week. Parents for letting me do what I wanted, or for helping me do what I wanted to do. ChanManV for having me on the show. Ben for joining and having me on the show as well. Way back then when you asked me to be on once, and then you just couldn't get rid of me. I was like a bad toe fungus. I also stream as well at twitch.tv/Kaplan, but I stream around, well, assuming I wake up at proper times, around like 11 a.m. CET to like 4 or 5 p.m. CET. So you always give me a follow there too.
Okay, that's not bad times. Is it?
Yeah.
Well, we're talking 4 or 5 p.m. Oh, p.m. Oh, that's early. Yeah, that's pretty early.
Yeah, for all you European viewers.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll round things out. Give a shout out to both of you guys, obviously, for doing the show, and everybody watched. This is kicking off 2017. Hopefully we can continue to grow the show, do some more great things, and have some great guests this year. But yeah, look, definitely, be on the lookout for just more cool things added to the show. We want to include you guys more and more, and to develop the show even more. We're not complacent with where the show is right now, so be on the lookout for cool things. But if you want to catch the VODs, you can catch them on youtube.com/ChanManV. They'll be posted tonight. iTunes, again, for all the listeners, even the people on Android too. It's available on Google Music/podcasts if you're an Android user too. But you can find that there. It's going to be posted. I always post it at night, so it'll be up by tomorrow morning. So find us there, and subscribe to that too, the feed there. And that's going to be it. Yeah, click the follow if you enjoyed the stream. I stream Hearthstone too at night. I haven't been streaming Overwatch just because I've been needing to get like a new monitor for a while, just because I don't know. I don't know if you guys want to watch me play versus these guys.
I got 60 hertz. I barely get 60 FPS when I play.
All right. I'm trying to make up an excuse as to why I don't play Overwatch on stream. But actually, when I do stream Overwatch, I get like no viewers. Like I get like a fifth of the viewers. So that's probably the main reason.
Don't worry. When Ben and I stream, we get no viewers anyways. even when it's our main game.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's definitely tough. But okay, guys, that's going to be it. Just remember, last day for the Genji skin for Heroes of the Storm, so go and play those games. And, last few days for loot boxes, too, for the Winter Wonderland. So get those while you can. But that's going to be it for the overview this week. So for Jason Kaplan, Fishstix, and myself, ChanManV, we'll see you next week. Later.